Peace, peace, top of the rainbow. You all, this is your host, LaQueer, host of Topics of Cancer, the queer perspective. I said it this time. The queer perspective, giving you the perspective from the Cancerian of the world as we should. So let's go. How are you all feeling today? Happy birthday to anyone who has a birthday today. Happy birthday to you. And just wanted to congratulate you on this day. You made another birthday. So you should rejoice and be glad in it as the Lord has made this day especially for you, especially for you. I was talking to my mate today and I had a clarity of thought in mind. And what I came to the understanding of knowing is that as parents, as a parent, you do not get a guidebook. You just get what's passed down from the previous generation. And I say that because, and this is mainly going to go for couples, newly couples and midway couples. The older couples, some of you all, but you already know this, is that as a child, and I only can speak for myself through my experience, is that I was always taught to handle the situation, or we were told to handle the situation as soon as it happens before it get any worse. Okay, before it gets worse, not any worse, before it gets worse. My mate, she would hack me up for pronouncing it wrong. Anywho, and what I mean by just that is, as growing up, it was always if you have an argument with your sibling or just anyone, you're to squash it as soon as possible. However, what I've come to understand is that sometimes there are moments when you really need to sit back, reflect, and relate, regardless on who's right or who's wrong. But to take some time out to assess the matter and to actually look at it as a whole. And the majority of my life, I was taught, hey, you have to apologize immediately. And it's nothing wrong with apologizing if you understand what you're apologizing for. Now, I'd say that because what if I was wrong or if I have been wronged and I'll have to be the bigger person, right? You do not have to be the bigger person if you stop hanging around smaller people. In order for you to understand that is, everything does not need an instant resolvement. Sometimes we do need to sit back and reflect on the matter. Sometimes silence is the best thing in order for us to come to a solution to the surrounding problem or difficulties there is within. I came to that because most of the time, and reflect back in my past relationships and even in my family, is that it was always we had to apologize right then and there. Sometimes when we're upset, when we're arguing back and forth, when we're having a heated debate, and we are not within the realm of understanding because we're trying to get an understanding of what it is that we even talking about. During the time of a disagreement, you are only focused on what it is that you're trying to come across. And sometimes people are really only focused on what they are trying to get across, especially if you're coming from a place of understanding or if you're just a logical, analytical person as myself, you are just basically trying to understand the why. As I learned that we have to be careful and notice whether that person is in there for a season or for a reason. And the difference is that if that person is in your life for a reason, then when you do go through those difficult matters, there's going to be an understanding for it because it is teaching you to become better in what it is that you are already in, or to break a habit that has been consistently causing the dismantle of your whole entire being. Now, you have people who come into your life for a season who's there to nitpick, basically, in your life, to pick at that scab that continuously grows and not allow it to heal seasonally. I have been putting people who are in my life in the reason area when they should be in the season area. It kind of really helps you to evolve and develop, because again, I believe we are living in an age of responsibility and being held responsible and accountable for past sins, thoughts, ideas, whatever. It's time for us to actually get together strategically and become responsible. Whether you want to be responsible about not being responsible, it's still a choice and a decision that you conducted within yourself and within the enemy and the enemy, where you said, this is what I want to do. You have to understand that there's responsibilities, there's a cause for every reaction. I say, be the cause to the action, be the action to the cause. I truly get to understand who I am as a person. Notice that every communication does not involve exchanging of words, but exchanging of silence. Sometimes we have to just allow that anger, that upsetness, that unknown to sit within us and sleep. You see, if you go back and listen to my podcast when I say still peace, there is peace in being still. You will understand when we are going through things and when we're upset, we're not fully using and functioning within the capabilities of within our brain, which is a very wonderful, beautiful thing on how it orchestrates and constructs, and how we are the only ones that have control over it. And if we don't have control over it, someone else will. We do not need to always have a conversation with the other person. We first need to have a conversation within ourselves. Sometimes that's just peace. If you are already on your wellness journey and you are conducting yourself to be conducive to your own self as well as others, you then will understand and know that sometimes the only reason why you snapping out is because you didn't get enough rest. The only reason why you snapping out is because you are working within the former life and not within the present. I wanted to share that today because I believe that there are a collective of us who do not understand that sometimes that old you will pop up regardless on how much you use crystals, incense, saging, doing the cat curling or the standing tree. You still are a human being that has emotions, that has feelings, that needs an understanding and a foundation. And in order to be conducive to that, in order to conduct all that together to result in a positive outcome, it's actually just sit in that peace. To actually just say that sometimes saying nothing at all speaks volumes. Silence speaks volumes. Not everything needs an instantaneous resolution. Not everything needs a wonderful last word. Sometimes we have to just pause. And I know the feeling of when you want to say something, you're trying to get your point across. But if you really actually listen to what is being said, the only thing that's being said is the same exact thing that you do yourself. It's a reflection. Understanding and looking at yourself in the mirror, if you do not like what you see, then you must adjust and change the projection to have a more stable and able stability to be able to understand your own self is to be quiet and spend time listening to yourself. Now, this may go over some of you's head because you may not understand the words that I'm saying, but there is that one person that does know. So I'm here to tell you that there is stillness in your peace, that you will come across an understanding and know that everything does not need words to exchange. Everything does not need verbalization in order to get your point across. Sometimes you have to actually sit on the matter. And for the word says, don't go to bed angry. And that could mean that you are angry with yourself because of the decisions and the choices that you chose to make. I truly believe that we actually think of it that way. and say, I'm not going to go to bed mad at myself because of what I didn't do, what I shouldn't have done, how I did it, and just projecting all that anger, that hate, that hostility amongst other people. And we look at it and saying, don't go to bed angry with yourself. I truly believe that is exactly what the word is trying to say. It's not so much about what the other person or anything else, because at the end of the day, the words that you say are productive. Once they're out, they're out. If we take that time out to actually look within ourselves to see exactly what is it that made me say those things and act that way, we can take away that time of going to bed angry and start going to bed with a peace and the stillness of mind. Well, that has been my time for you all today. I am your host, LaQueer. This is the podcast Topics of Cancer, where we talk about queer topics all the queer time. Why? Because we need to, giving you the bird's eye view of the world from a Cancerian perspective. And today I say, don't go to bed angry at yourself, but take time to listen. Until next time, my loves, all is well. And always remember, be true, be you, unapologetically.